Alrighty, guys. So, midnight shop update. Since the time change, my sleep has been screwed up. So, I was getting to the point I was coming in at 8 and leaving at like 11 or 12 at night. Now I'm all the way back to leaving at 3 a.m. basically. And I actually continued working after the last video ended. So, we'll do our usual start over here by the dyno. Barry's red bike is basically done. I got a spot in the tune that is driving me absolutely bat spit crazy. I can't seem to get it to not be rich there. So I'm continuing to work with that. We'll see what we get. Any runtime is good runtime on brand new rings anyway. No smoke. But that one spot I think is where he's been cruising at, or at least running through a bunch. And that would explain why he's smelling gas, because it's really rich there. This little sucker, I got to find a spark plug still. This one used to be over there by the wiring bench. It is wired. That light is still driving me bonkers. So we got all our powers, grounds, and such terminated up here. I really wish I could have done this better. Like a distribution block would have been neat. I might add one in the future. It's set up to be able to have one, so it'd be an easy addition just to put a distribution block right here. But that's added weight and not needed. Went ahead and mounted the regulator rectifier back where he had it originally. It's wired in with all new wiring. Running up here. Okay. I need a manifold for a gauge block. I ordered one. It came. It is not the kind I need. It is a single port. I need a dual port. Let's see. I got the oil pressure sensor on. Calibrated, configured, everything there. And the big thing, we got an igniter on it. Okay, that is a borrowed igniter for the moment. His igniter will be in Thursday, but it's a borrowed igniter to get us going. Now, I fired it up. It popped almost immediately. I had to invert my cam and crank signals. It happens sometimes. Probably got the wires backwards. Not a big deal. Just invert them in the tune. Now you can plug into a stock one. Fires up, purrs like a kitten, sounded like sin. Turns out he forgot to put exhaust gaskets on this. That's why the exhaust is off of it. Hopefully I can get some gaskets tomorrow. I need a fuel pump still. I had to borrow Scotty's fuel cell to fire it off. The pins will be in tomorrow for this, so I can do the termination on this connection. And then that is the last connection that needs made on this bike for it to go to the track. Everything else has been tested, cycled, and confirmed, so we just need to get it running long enough for me to do a little bit of free rev work. I might put the frickin' thing live and make one pull on the dyno, but I don't think I'm going to. I think we're just going to go to the track. I think it's going to be the easiest way to tune this thing rather than fighting with anything. So frickin' free rev, work a rough map, figure out where I need to be. The swings, because this engine is not the same as the engine. This is a big Cam 1441 versus the engine that the tune I'm using came out of was a stock bike. Gives me the basics, but the fueling's not going to be there. I'll probably just add like 15% to everything and go to the track. And then we'll tune it from there based on data logs. All right, next. Tulip. Scotty's got a plan in place to mount the fuel cell up front like that. Be nice to go to a smaller cell or a better design cell, but that's what he's got, and it works well. We got to build a fuel line anyway, so we'll just go ahead and do that. He's going to take the ram air tubes off, I do believe. We'll see, but every ounce counts. He's supposed to come by tomorrow and start ripping that apart. You see the little Jeep in the background now. So this thing was spitting the chain. I found this in the sprocket, and well, now it's set down in this mounts, but the motor's not bolted down. So I'm going to bolt the motor down, straighten everything up, see if I can find the master link in that chain, and pull a couple links out of it. I wouldn't do that for a motorcycle, but this thing's a little freaking go-kart. It's really loose. So I'll get that done, and then I need to see if I can find a 3D print file for these plugs, or buy these plugs. I got to buy the intake anyway. And then I need an exhaust gasket because the exhaust was just hanging off of it too. So we got a little bit of work to do. A lot of running to the hardware store for some nuts and bolts and screws. But we're getting there. Haven't touched it. Supposed to be leaving tomorrow, hopefully. Haven't heard a word from him. started on this. Okay, that one, I forgot the shift fork. It's on the way. It's been on the way. It's just been on back order. But we have rotating assembly and transmission. We're ready to put the case halves together. Ignore all the staining. This thing, I washed it with an acid that blackened it. It's terrible. Anywhere where there's not staining is actually where there was still silicone when it was in the soak tank. It's kind of funny. But anyway, this thing is ready for one shift fork to be put in and the shift shaft cover, and then I can go ahead and put the halves together. Tomorrow I should have all the case gaskets because I accidentally burgled. Well, I didn't accidentally. I intentionally burgled his because I was waiting on other parts for another project. So his are going to be here tomorrow. Just like I burgled his head gasket to finish this one. Because tomorrow I'll have his head gasket anyway. But yeah, then I can go ahead and finish putting that together. I know I'm lacking something on that. It's something that I completely spaced off. Oil pump. I spaced the oil pump. That was it. Because I remember I was starting to put together the lower case half, and I grabbed this bag and went, there's something missing from this combination. There's my pin, snap ring, gear, everything but the oil pump. So I got to get an oil pump on the way. That shouldn't be too big of a deal. I will get it, and I will get it rocking and rolling. Teddy Rose, bearings are on the way. Waiting to see what he does on that. Bossman's got to go to storage, and I'm going to go probably tomorrow morning and get the other bike out of storage that we have to test this weekend. And charge the battery, make sure everything's still happy on it, check the oil, fill the fuel up, all that. That's about it. This open slot is for a bike that is coming in hopefully tomorrow when that one goes out. So that's what we got going on. I'm going to try and go home now and maybe get to sleep by like 2 instead of 3. That way I can get up at 10 instead of 11. And maybe tomorrow I'll go home a little earlier, get to sleep by 1, get up by 9. You know what I mean? Work on shifting my schedule. Some point I need to go get a haircut because this is getting out of hand again. That's the worst part is if I was to do this, that doesn't look bad. The sides. I hate being old. Anyway, y'all have a beautiful day.